the stupid stuff because all these black people go missing. I think it's something like 2,500 a year. No one knows what happened. They just come up missing. We have to start asking these questions and things. And I hate to go there, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this too, because you have all these women that come up missing, and the wounds are taken out. And what's going on with the LGBT community? They're doing wound transplants. I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing that out there. We got to question everything, family.
Did you say wound transplant? Okay, you talking about? Oh, I can because I heard that you talking about where they have like a damn man, and how is that even possible, bro? If you're a man, how can they do a damn wound transplant? Like I think modern science is going way over the boundaries of just stuff that just makes sense. Like I know that sometimes you have, and I've heard this every time. Well, a man just had a baby, and you have like a woman that was born a woman. She goes ahead and then she does a sex change or takes hormones or whatever, but supposedly becomes a man. And then they tell, oh look, it's the first man to ever give birth and whatnot. When really the person was born a damn woman. Like they trying to like pass it along and whatnot. It's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, these folks are playing into another level that I never thought I would see in my lifetime.
Yeah. Y'all, we're going to start this story up in a second. I want to go ahead and touch up on this. I'm just trying to let a few more people come up in here. Y'all, please go ahead and y'all tweet out the space. Please go ahead and tweet out the space. This should make for a pretty interesting discussion tonight. If you don't know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, and if you have Netflix, I say definitely go ahead and tune into that. If he was in the 90s and you're old enough to remember and stuff like that, you know exactly the kind of sick SOB this character was here. And now you got a bunch of people worldwide, and people want to play like, well, I didn't know that he was a serial killer. I wasn't born then. Like, hey, all you gotta do is read up on history and whatnot. So we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of this actual topic tonight. Like I say, I'm just allowing a few more people to come on in here. A lot of times when I start to read the actual article or touch up on stuff, sometimes our people missing and whatnot. So definitely, Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic. Also, I'm gonna put this story right here. I'm gonna put this actual article in the actual jumbotron. Go ahead, Ray.
You good, brother? Now, I just wanted to point out, a sister followed me the other day, and I'm probably gonna butcher her name. Akashki Noni Nichols. She's actually in the space now. She's running for presidential candidate. So I don't know. If we could, it's the space. Probably another space. I would like to hear what the sister has to say as far as what she brings to the table. I'm gonna land there.
Oh yeah, I definitely would and I would definitely be interested to hear what the sister say. She's requesting to speak, so we definitely could go ahead and do that, and she has time or whatever, we can definitely set up a space and we can hear her actual platform. How you doing, sister? I see you requested to speak. We definitely could go ahead and whenever you want to discuss your platform with people and whatnot. I just approved you, but apparently it must have knocked you back down to a listener. So I'm sending you back the invite. Twitter is funny like that, y'all. I apologize. We don't know what be going on with these spaces a lot of time. It really, really, really messes things up. But I would definitely like to hit a sister. Like I said, I'm sending her an invite right now. But you know how these spaces are. So if you get a chance, sister, go ahead and accept the invite and let us know, and we can definitely set up a actual space where you can let people know about your platform and what you're trying to do, and the fact that you're running for president. That's a big step forward. So definitely would like to go ahead and support you, and everybody that's in the space, y'all, please go ahead and tweet out the space. Like I said, we're trying to go ahead. We're gonna start this thing up in just a second. Trying to give a few more people to come in before we actually start. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna delay it too much longer. I'm gonna go ahead and get to this actual topic because I do want to go ahead and cover this tonight. So we definitely want to go ahead and touch up on this crazy, crazy situation that's going on with Jeffrey Dahmer. How Jeffrey Dahmer has become a cult like hero overnight. Like I mean, this net, and then they got more Netflix series coming out too, y'all. Like they supposed to have more stuff coming out with this cat. They had stuff in the 90s and stuff. Whatever reason, I guess it's a fascination with people having sex with dead people and eating their remains and stuff like that. So definitely stay on alert for that. I mean, this is one person that I think they could have kept buried and left him for where he was at. But apparently, we're gonna have more and more people actually talking about Jeffrey Dahmer coming out and whatnot. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna touch up on this real quick. Um, Give me about 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and start. I want to go ahead and get into it. B1 to you, Janique, as well. Thank you for showing up in the actual on the YouTube channel as well. B1 to everybody that's listening, FBA to everybody listening, reparations to everybody listening, Black empowerment to everybody listening as well. That's what we're about. Support the new Black media. Support all of your Black-owned businesses that you people can. Go ahead and support our Black-owned businesses, because if we don't look after our own people, who in the world will? So that's my main thing. If you got a Black-owned business in your town, whether it be a restaurant, a dentist, a lawyer, whoever, go out there, show some support. Some support. Try to go ahead and help our people out as much as possible. We definitely need that love. We definitely need that support. We definitely got to keep that Black dollar in the Black community as long as we can, because we know it don't circulate long. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this. I'm going to touch up. I want to say what's up to Hussein and Dark as well, too. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started, because I want to go ahead and touch up on this. And the name of the title is Dressing Up as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween: How a Hit Series Brought a Serial Killer into Fashion. And like I say, I have that actually in the Jumbotron for anybody. Also, if you're on YouTube, I also have the link in the description as well, too. So you can go ahead, click to the actual article. This was curator on Newstoter.com. It's from a website called, it's a Spanish site, Alepsi or something like that. So we definitely want to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and touch up on that. Aunt Lai, I'm going to just send you a request to speak. I'm going to go ahead and touch up on this article, sister. When you get a chance, you can go ahead and catch up. When you get a chance, you want to speak after I finish, you're more than welcome. Aunt Lai has seen the actual Netflix series. I still haven't seen it. I just remember this actual this psychopath back from the 90s and whatnot. Like I said, he always gave me the kind of heebie-jeebies, to be honest, but the atrocious crimes of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer caused such an impact on the American public opinion that long before Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, the hit series created by Ryan Murphy for Netflix, fiction had already put its eyes on him. In 1991, just months after Dahmer was arrested and charged with the murder of 17 men with whom he practiced necrophilia and cannibalism afterwards, the Los Angeles-based Iranian author Reza Abdul premiered the play The Law Remains, which presented a murderer named Jeffrey, who was clearly based on Dahmer. Then in 1993, the first film about his life, The Secret Life of Jeffrey Dahmer, was released. A documentary about his trial was broadcast on television, and the cannibal himself was interviewed on CBS show Inside Edition. In 1995, a year after dying in prison at the hands of an inmate, the thriller Copycat exalted him as one of the great American monsters of the 20th century. There was no need for time to surround his name in a halo of fascination. Dahmer was a myth of evil. From the very first moment his name appeared in the media. More than 30 years later, the fascination with Dahmer is back, thanks to a series that has earned glowing reviews, as well as the understandable, furious reactions of at least the one sister of the victim, who complains that her immense pain has been turned into entertainment. And in the middle of that polarization, as always, are the viewers, many of which see the whole affair as someone would see a show like American Horror Story or Squid Game, a simple phenomenon, and on Halloween, a great costume idea. Yeah, real great to actually dress up as a serial killer, somebody that killed 17 people, as a damn great Halloween idea. Several factors influence the fascination that this kind of serial killer causes among people, explains Luis Baraka, a psychiatrist specializing in legal and forensic medicine. The main reason is fear of death. The idea that we ourselves could be victims of someone like that. We relate to the victims, and that makes us try to understand the motives of the attacker. The specialist also points out that Dahmer's case is particularly unusual. A sadistic necrophiliac and cannibalistic serial killer, which did not happen that long ago. Jack the Ripper, for example, was a similarly sadistic, but today we see him as someone that lived far, far a long time ago. These days in the American media is warning that it is inappropriate to dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer on Halloween. It's not the killer costume you should be wearing this Halloween, cautions a piece from the New York Post. After a flood of criticism, many Instagram users who posed as Dahmer at Halloween parties that have already been held have deleted their photos. Others have been removed by the platform itself after reports from the users. The complaints from the families of victims are especially notable. Shirley Hughes, mother Tony Hughes, who died at the hands of Dahmer when he was 17, has been one of the most vocal. It's already super triggering to see a hit Netflix series about the serial killer, much less folks dressing like the killer. Some big corporations are already doing damage control. eBay, for example, is removing the clothing or accessories that sold as Jeffrey Dahmer costumes in compliance with their policy. Listings that promote or glorify hatred, violence, or discrimination aren't allowed, states the company. Of course, like so many other criminals, Dahmer looked like a regular guy, and it is impossible to stop the sale of shirts, pants, or glasses that evoke him. It is very easy to find Jeffrey Dahmer glasses online, even though they cannot be sold as such. The reference is present in reviews and comments of the product and will lead to any search engine to it. Mourning is a very deep feeling, borrowers argue, but when on top of that, the murderer becomes a kind of hero, the family also feels humiliated. I would even say abused. Mourning requires, above all, peace, and such disturbing and public acts make it impossible. The phenomenon seems hard to control. On TikTok, the murderer is a source of comedy. What if Jeffrey Dahmer was from Argentina? One is a video with 350,000 likes. Another one with more than 2 million likes contemplates how would it be if he had a roommate? One more ponders what would happen if Jeffrey Dahmer hooked up with a Arab? Yet another, if Eminem went to Jeffrey Dahmer's house, YouTuber Dub Family, who had almost 1.4 million followers, was criticized for posting a parody video in which he lived like Jeffrey Dahmer for an entire day. And his next video title, So I Got Canceled. He admits that he didn't even know who Dahmer was until he first saw the video of the series. Somebody's trying to come. Oh, that's DJ. Let me go ahead, DJ, real quick, and make you a co-host and get back into the actual story. The phenomenon is not limited to the United States. In the Complex Club and a nightclub in the south of France, a Jeffrey Dahmer themed Halloween party was announced. The owner has since received death threats. It's not the first time Dahmer sneaks into popular culture. In Katy Perry's song Dark Horse in 2013, rapper Juicy J sings the following lines: She's a beast. I call her Karma. She eats your heart out like Jeffrey Dahmer. It was number one in the United States and one of the most successful songs of the decade. Another seemingly innocuous singer, Keisha, included a reference to Dahmer in her song Cannibal. Use your finger to stir my tea, and for dessert, I'll suck your teeth. Be too sweet, and you'll be a goner. I'll pull a Jeffrey Dahmer. None of the six writers of Dark Horse have said anything about it so far. As for Cannibal, one of the four writers has offered an explanation. Keisha's mother in the TikTok video, she explains that the reference to Dahmer was suggested by a computer program called Master Writer that is advertised as a tool for composers. One writes a word and it suggests possible rhymes. Keisha and the other writers were too young to even know who Jeffrey Dahmer was, she explained. We were looking for a rhyme with Ghana, and the program suggested Jeffrey Dahmer. There are more examples. Despite the emphasis that Ryan Murphy and co-creator Ian Brennan placed on not glorifying the killer and honoring the victims, despite the way the series makes it clear that the racist and homophobic police system consistently ignored the signs that might have led to the arrest of the criminal much sooner, Dahmer has taken on a life of his own in the hands of viewers. This is problematic. Where awareness and reflection should be raised, there seems to be only fascination. Dahmer has been turned into a horror icon, and the fact that he is played by Evan Peters, a well known actor for Murphy's Trope and the generation's erotic idol, does not help. For many who knew nothing about the actual case, but who were familiar with Murphy's work, this is just another chapter in his chronicle of the horrors of contemporary America, as if it was another season of American Horror Story. Just another Halloween special. Wow. Ray, you got it. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I just wanted to say, man, I had posted this earlier. Jeffrey Dahmer had preyed upon young blonde white women. there will not be a single person who will be dressing up their kids for Halloween, nor a single one of people will be thinking this shit is funny. Obviously he preyed upon, mostly gay black men. And a lot of people don't know Jeffrey Dahmer actually worked in a chocolate factory. So you have to keep that, little stuff like that in mind too. This dude was obviously very sick and twisted, man. And the fact that they're trying to make him into like some type of folklore or whatever, it just shows how sick the society is. I land there.
We've had a bunch of serial killers over the years, and I don't ever remember anybody ever dressing up in Halloween time as Ted Bundy or the Gacy guy or any of these other nutcases and stuff like that. So you have to wonder also as well too how much of this stuff is race based. The fact that we have a serial killer who just preyed on black people for the most of, and that's not to say he didn't kill some white victims as well too, but he mostly preyed on black people and, like they say, homosexuals and stuff like that. And the fact that he's been all over the world, because we're seeing parties over there in France, that he's been glamorized all over the world. It's so bad that you're having some of these top businesses like eBay and stuff like that. They're having to go ahead and they're having to shut this type of thing down. And people are getting reported with having posts and stuff like that. People are having, for God's sakes, having Halloween parties talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, somebody who screwed dead people that he killed, somebody that ate the remains of people. And like you said, Ray, and I haven't seen this, and I heard Tariq talking about it too. If this guy just wasn't such an idiot, who knows how long, who knows how many people he would have killed? Because, hey, as far as a lot of these white folks is concerned, he was taking care of the undesirables. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was just pretty much the street sweeper, getting rid of the trash. So for this to really go on for as long as it did, and for this person now, 30 some years later, when a lot of the ones that's sitting up here wearing his outfit and dropping TikTok videos talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, like, hey, this ain't a game right here. This isn't some fictional story. This isn't something just that a Wes Craven, Stephen King type novel or something like this. This is actually people that were murdered and were killed. This man and his whole refrigerator got body parts and everything else in his damn house, and people sitting up here acting like this is just something to go ahead and turn a blind eye to and have a good time and party it up and this and that. So if you have kids and you're in this space too, please be careful. If you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, be careful of the nutcases that's putting all kind of dope and everything else now into these actual candies and stuff like that. Be careful. Check your kids' candy. Back in the day, they used to check ours for razor blades and stuff like that, because you've always had nutcases and stuff like that. So please take your kids to a public, take them to the mall if you can. Check the candy. You have all kind of drive. You got all kind of places you could take them to, depending on what city you at. They have these drive type Halloween things where you can like you go open your trunk and the people walk by and they'll put the candy in there. So please be very leery, be very careful of your kids that you're taking them out here in public and stuff like that. You see the kind of nutcases we're dealing with, people sitting up here with a sadistic, a murderous serial killer, somebody who had absolutely no. And if you ever seen Jeffrey Dahmer, this guy is as cold as ice. And I know that's an expression people use like that. Like, this guy had no remorse whatsoever in his heart. He just was, and he had no problem telling you about it like that. Like I said, that's why I kind of have hesitated to seeing it, because as a kid, when I saw this dude like that, when they say you get goosebumps and you get, and you can, like, the hair on the back of your neck stand up, like, he was the type of person that evoked that. If you were a kid at the time and stuff like that, and you're like, damn. And it wasn't a little bit later that I found that a lot of people he was killing was gay and stuff. But you just figure, like, damn, this dude just targeting black people and just killing them and this and that. Like I say, if you don't have Netflix, I say I'm gonna see it. Aunt Lai told me to go ahead and see it. I need to go ahead and see it. I'm gonna go ahead and see the actual documentary, whatever. I remember it growing up and stuff like that, and hearing so much of the actual evidence and things about Jeffrey Dahmer that, like I said, I just got to go ahead and just say, hey, man, let me go ahead and see this nutcase once again or whatever. So shout out to all you guys coming up into space now. Please go ahead and tweet out the space if you can. Aunt Lai is our residential expert on the actual Jeffrey Dahmer a documentary. She tried to get me and DJ both to go ahead and see it. So if any of you guys also, because Aunt Maya, she's gonna drop a little knowledge for us. And if any of you other guys have seen the actual documentary, please raise your hand. If you guys know anything about the story, you want to share anything, please go ahead. If you guys just want to go ahead and vent and say how ridiculous and how crazy this is, that you got a serial killer, people dressing up like him, 30 some damn years later, dressing up like this dude right here, people having TikTok parties, people having Halloween parties, people posting TikTok videos, people buying shit online and stuff like that, trying to look like this dude right here. You go up in the right neighborhood dressing up like Jeffrey Dahmer if you want to, and you're gonna get that work put on you. So I would definitely be careful. We know which neighborhoods they're going to dressing up like Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff like that. You go to the right neighborhood dressing up like Jeffrey Dahmer. Don't say you haven't been warned. Like, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister, and it's good to hear from you.
How y'all doing? I'm gonna be short and sweet. I'm not feeling good. I'm stressed out. I had to call the FBI and go off them, so I'm gonna try to keep it. I really feel like the fact that devils are dressing up as a devil doesn't surprise me, honestly, because once you know who somebody is, believe them. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no difference between Hitler, Jeffrey Dahmer, and the slave masters. They all do the same thing. They stay on code, they stay on the page. That's just what you expect from them type of people and the people like him. I remember actually people was in love with Jeffrey when he was in prison. He was getting vaginas in the mail and all kinds of other stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that devils are worshiping the devil, because that's what devils do. The important reason why I think every Black person should watch it, especially when we talk about the police, because you know how I fight with the police, because I honestly, it's bigger than Nino Brown. And the series, although it talks about, and somebody said it makes people feel sorry for him, it will only make a psycho feel sorry for him. Because when his daddy was talking, which is not funny, when his daddy was sitting there crying, talking about he wanted to kill people too, all of these motherfuckers, they all crazy. Like, you have to understand, like, they're distant cousins, they're all related. We be looking at them like, when they, like, okay, back in the day, you know how when you read the paper and it'd be some crazy shit, you would know that it was a white person that did some shit like that, just based off of what the crime was, like, or facts. You would know, like, every Black person, and we because we don't do stuff like that. Like, I'm talking to my kids because they live in a world where they be trying to do stuff, and I be telling them, like, you not white. We don't do shit like that. That shit is not in our vocabulary. You know what I mean? We know how to act when we go out in public. Like, we have home training. So we don't do that crazy stuff that other people do. But we know the type of people that do those stuff because we all know, you know what I mean? Like, we know what they do. But I think his documentary was very important, even though I'm really hurt by the fact that the people, the families and the victims they didn't get their permission on having it done, and it was done without the family's permission, and the family is not getting any money from it. I'm going to fight for that one, because that's another way they get to steal our intellectual property and steal from us and just make things, especially like with my case, that's out in the news already. It's not a crime, it was already out there. But this is bigger than Nino Brown. His documentary was it literally, number one, I don't think he was gay. Like, if you see it, he had more smoke for his grandmother when she threw out his mannequin than he did with any relationship he had with the
Wait. I gotta ask you something. I gotta go back. I have feedback. That's me or you, Aunt Lie?
I don't hear it.
Okay, yeah, I heard. Is everybody got their mic mute? Okay. Let me ask you this quick question, Aunt Lie, because I heard you say that this cat that they were sending him fake vaginas in jail.
Like, no, women were sending him love letters, money, and pictures of their vagina, because he was saying to one of the inmates, like, trade me something, I'll give you this vagina, it's like nice and open or something.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like I heard you say, like, I'm thinking, okay, so you have women sitting up here like this guy was some kind of star, sending naked pictures, sending pictures of themselves to a man that, first off, is a serial killer. Secondly, he's a cannibal. And third, and most importantly, necrophilia. This guy's sitting up here sleeping with dead people. You got body parts all over the out of the wazoo, and you got women sitting up here sending this dude pictures. No doubt, I know what color the women were as well too. So I mean,
and that's the thing. Like, I'm not surprised by it now because I know what they did back in the day. Like, he literally had a fan club. They didn't just start. It's a reemergence of people dressing like Jeffrey. And my husband said if the kid come to the house, he don't like, I ain't know your leg can get up that high because he said he's going to fuck him. But I'm not surprised. I'm so not surprised when devils do devil shit. The thing to me is the fact that in the criminal justice, number one, I don't think he was homosexual. He was more in love with the mannequin than he was with any individual. He was making love to the mannequin. He was having sex with their bodies. He really wasn't having sex with a human. So if you're gonna be homosexual, you would have sex with a. I think that was an excuse. I think he was a different type of sociopath, and I think he preyed on Black people because he knew he could get away with treating Black people that way because they were Black, the same way the government treats Black people the way they treat them because they get away with it. I think he, as people say, he was smart. It wasn't the fact that he was smart. He kept getting chance after chance after chance because he was white. But that's what white people have been doing now since the beginning of the time. All Karen got to do is cry and say X, Y, and Z. She called on a Black man, the Black man being killed. He just used that to his advantage. But the criminal justice system really allowed, like, he literally got locked up for having sex with a 13-year-old boy, and the judge was like, well, I don't want this to hurt your record. They do that, they still do it. Then he killed that 13-year-old boy's 14-year-old brother a year or two later, and the cops literally escorted that 14-year-old victim back to the house. When Jeffrey had drugged him, drilled a hole in his head, and he was butt naked on a porch, and the cops escorted him back to be murdered. Then those same police officers would be nominated as Officer of the Year after they did that. Like, that to me is more of a police state. What needs to really be done by how he had a dead body in his car, the police pull him over and he get away with it. Like, the police, especially when they tell Black people you need the police if somebody robbed your house, the police, it was a more of a telltale sign of why Black people don't need the police than anything. That's what that movie, that's a powerful representation. Every time somebody tell you, defund the police, we need the police, Jeffrey Dahmer. No, the fuck we don't. And what happened with Jeffrey Dahmer is the same thing that happened throughout this country. And it needs to be highlighted, it needs to be seen, because if you really, like, he was in the military doing this. He was drugging his fellow military soldiers and just got booed out. Like,
wait. This guy, mute your mic real quick on live. But this guy was in the actual military, and he was actually drugging soldiers in the actual military. Because we already know in the military they let a lot of people get away with a lot of different things, anyways. Because we're seeing some of the cases and stuff coming forward with some of the assaults and everything else that the military's kind of been covering up. But you're saying that this guy was in the military. And he was doing the same stuff like this as well too.
The United States government taught him how to drug them. The United States government taught him. He took like a military nursing thing, and they was in there, and they was telling him about what the chemical.
You there on live? I think we might have lost live for 1 second. Live.
Yeah, but what she's saying is a lot of truth in it, man. You know, the Army definitely, I want to say he was other than honorably discharged for all this stuff that he did. And like she said, she touched on a lot of good topics, because we need to look at the police as being very culpable in this, because how in the world do you have a boy that's underage? You don't even check the boy's ID, and you let him go back with a damn serial killer when multiple people are telling you, you're not going to see how old this guy is. He looks super young. That was a Niecy Nash character. She kept re-emphasizing, like, y'all need to check on this boy. Something is not right about this. Like, excuse me. we have like these very far orders coming in through the vents and stuff. Like, you need to go check on this guy. Like, there were so many signs, and like she said, like Allah said, he was able to get away with it so long because they just did not care.
So you got, then this is the thing, and that the kid that he killed, I'm assuming, Ray, that this kid was black as well too. Because did he kill a few victims that was white, or were all of them? I thought he killed maybe a handful of them that were also white as well. But I know the vast majority were black.
Yes, a couple of them were sprinkled in. He said he didn't care. He was just hunting, basically. Whoever he could get. Because I watched the interview with him. He sat down with his father and talked to somebody, and he was saying it didn't matter their color, race, or whatever. He was just pretty much just out to hunt. So this dude was sick. Bottom line.
I remember that. I noticed this took place in Milwaukee. I know it was in the Midwest as well too, right?
I don't know. I just obviously, I know it started in Milwaukee. I don't know where it went. I know Ted Bundy's, his started, I want to say somewhere in the Midwest, and he was actually caught in Pensacola.
Yeah, he was caught. Ted Bundy actually was here in Tallahassee too, and I think he may have escaped out of jail in Tallahassee as well too. So Ted Bundy was down here in Florida. Ted Bundy went just nationwide, just killing. He was a lawyer and everything else, and supposedly good looking and stuff. And yeah, I remember they used to show that. They used to show that what it was, a Deliberate Stranger back in the 80s and stuff. TBS used to show that all the time. And I'm a kid then, so you kind of getting chills. Like I say, this stuff, like when you saw serial killers on TV and stuff like that, because they did not mind showing you serial killers on TV. This thing used to scare the hell out you if you was a kid and whatnot. You like, damn, like I say, this could happen to anybody and anywhere. My thing is this right here is that the police department, and I heard Tariq said, and I heard Aunt Lai said and stuff, but for the most part, they protected this guy. They and it's in the article I just read and stuff like that. They talk about the actual the culpability that the police department played in it because of the racism and the homophobia and this and that too. So you see the actual, they just pretty much allowed this guy to go out there because, like I say, to my knowledge, from what I can remember, and like I said, I haven't looked at the Netflix story, but I remember the thing back in the 90s and stuff. It seemed like he was always in black neighborhoods and stuff like that, and he was getting these guys and stuff like that and killing them or whatever. We always assumed that all the guys that he would kill were gay and this and that. So that was another reason why, it kind of got swept under the rug that, hey, well, first off, you're killing black people. Secondly, you're killing black gay dudes or whatever. So it's no big deal or whatever. But this is pretty troubling. Nate, I see you came up as a speaker. Nate, did you have something that you wanted to add? Because I saw you early. I couldn't remember if you raised your hand or not, or you just wanted to come up as a speaker.
Yeah. I'm a real person, man. Peace to the room. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead, bro.
So my first contention is that they pulled that same shit when they let him go after he dumped that little boy, Adam Walsh. After he threw him over the bridge, he had got immediately pulled after that incident. And there's strong evidence to suggest that he killed him and not out his tool. My second contention is that I'm going to piggyback off your man, Mr. Smith, earlier before the room got crowded. As far as the body, the organ harvesting is going, you remember your girl, Kenesha Jenkins, up there in Chi-Town?
Absolutely, brother. I remember Kenesha. Shoot, I'm from Valdosta, Georgia. I don't know if it's the first time we spaced, but we had a kid that he got his organs harvested allegedly at my old high school. So this stuff is going around. What's up?
Right. I remember that. But the contention I had was when that young lady got killed at that hotel, they busted a father and son ring in the building where they were harvesting organs, and that got swept under the rug. And I'm going to land my plane there.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. Ray, go ahead, and then I'm going to kick it back to Aunt Lai.
Yeah, I'm going to be real quick. I've noticed, why is it, when it's things that's involving us, it just gets swept under the rug. I absolutely hate that because they just had a damn serial killer that was up in Kansas City. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but even the people on the block were saying, hey, we think we have an alleged serial killer. This is where he lived. This is the address where he lives at. blah blah blah, and the police did absolutely nothing. They even went so far as to publish. It was a little article saying, that the claims that they're trying to make are unfounded. It wasn't until a girl escaped from a damn torture cellar, and she had managed to make her way up and run to a neighbor's house. She was like 70 pounds. She was like, it's too late for my friends. They killed my friends or whatever. That the police finally took action. I land there, man. Like I said, it's just sad, man, that our people have to go through all that just to get just the smallest mention of justice.
Like, I'm gonna get to you real quick. I want to hear what Volvo got to say because I know you really in depth on it. So Volvo, let me go ahead and hear what you got to say. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just want to say excuse me, the Jeffrey Dahmer Halloween costume, that's ridiculous. That's like I want to say almost comical. That's like letting your child go to school dressed as Hitler or something like that. Letting your child dress as Hitler for Halloween. But guess what? It's Hitler Halloween costume. This is just who these people are. These people are sick. You gotta understand that they glorify shit like this. I read a book called The Delectable Negro. I'm looking at it right now. These people used to eat us. That's part of their culture. They used to eat us. Why you think they like bloody steak and shit like that? It's a part of their culture. They used to when they used to lynch the black man, they used to cut off his penis and all that type of shit. These people are fucking sick. These people are demonic. These people are devils. There's no way that I would let my child go out the house in a Jeffrey Dahmer costume. They glorify shit like that. If you pay attention, there's always a new Hitler documentary popping up. Hitler supposed to be an enemy of America, right? They fought him in World War II. It's literally 100 Hitler documentaries. They glorify what Hitler did. These people have blackface parties. Blackface parties. They dress up as black people and try to act like they clowning us, but it's really like a form of worship. These people are oppressed about us. You know what I mean? Like, these people are really demonic. Who would you let your child dress up as a serial killer? Now, I had this debate with this white guy, right? I'm like, that's ridiculous. He a racist. They real easy to debunk. They really slow for real. Without the system of white supremacy, they ain't really nothing. I'm talking about talk to the average white guy. He really stupid. Just let him talk. He really stupid. But I had this discussion with him, and he gonna say like, what about Freddy Krueger? Freddy Krueger was fake. That's a TV monster. This a real life monster. Jeffrey Dahmer was a real life monster. He was a monster in real life. He used to eat people. This is just who these people are. And all we got to do is sit back. They're going to end up doing it to themselves because that's just their manner. Appreciate you, man.
Volvo, the ad what you just said, everybody make sure your mic mute because I'm hearing some feedback. But the ad that what you say, like, you're right. When you hear people talk about, like, you hear a lot of white people talk about Hitler, one of the first things they'll use when they describe Hitler, they'll say, well, Hitler was a genius. You're like, he was a genius? Like, Hitler was a madman. Hitler was insane. Like, what are you talking about?
Hitler was a genius, though, brother. He was a genius. He was just a mad genius.
Nah, if he was such a genius, his dumb ass would have knew that he couldn't conquer the world. So, I mean, he wasn't that much of a genius. Anybody who's ever tried to attempt to conquer the world has always failed, from the time of Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, you name it. So if he was such a genius, his dumb ass wouldn't have went over there to Russia and tried to invade Russia as well, too. So he was no genius. I mean, he had some intelligence. More than anything, he was a great orator, and he was able to rouse up his people like that and stuff like that and galvanize the people or whatever. But if he was a true genius, his stupid ass would have never went over there trying to actually invade Russia when Napoleon already showed you that that's a no-no. You can't go to invade Russia in the damn wintertime and think that you're going to be successful. And these are Europeans coming. They live in cold areas here, but Russia is a whole nother level of coldness. No, that's not going to work. You're not going to do that. And to get to your point, like what you're talking about, what Jeffrey Dahmer, and you talk about the people eating and stuff like that. Yeah, we've always heard that stuff, that even in Europe and stuff like that, that even when these people like had they had resources, the food and stuff like that, like they consider like human flesh as some kind of savory, I don't know, just some kind of savory meat that they had to have and stuff like that. So I really don't know. Like I say, we really don't know exactly the extent of why anybody in their right mind want to actually eat human flesh. But I can't just go ahead, bro.
Yeah, just one more thing I want to just put in the air just for y'all to think about. They practice eating the placenta after the baby come out. That's a practice. They got dishes in Europe where they sit around, the family will eat the placenta after the baby. I swear to God, you can look this up yourself. So they've been on some cannibal shit.
And I'm gonna put this in that, and not to get off topic, because Ray, I'm gonna get to y'all, but I gotta add this since you said that. I was watching one time on Bizarre Foods. We're gonna get back to Jeffrey Dahmer, y'all. Y'all are just coming to space. I'm not getting off the topic, but since he said that, because he was just talking about the actual appetites of some of these people, and I kid you not, and this is not to insult this tribe that was over there in Africa or whatever, but I kid you not, on this episode of Bizarre Foods, I can't remember what country it was, but you had the birth of a baby, and you had when they went ahead to circumcise a baby. I kid you not, you had a grandfather over there. They circumcised him, gave him the foreskin, and he put it on a banana and he ate it. But I just had to say that. I mean, now I know that's disgusting, y'all, but I just had to add that. That's not the insult. That's not to say that's every tribe. So I don't want people to say, oh, that's how y'all. No, that was just one group of people. I just wanted to add that part in there. So I don't want everybody to talk about, oh, well, he's attacking. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just making a point of what I saw on Bizarre Foods on the actual Travel Network. So that's just.
Brother, one last thing. I'm so sorry, man. I swear to God. So I just got to put this in the air for y'all to look this up. The white Jewish people do that too. When they circumcise the baby, the rabbi sucks the blood from the baby's penis. I swear to God, babies done died and caught herpes like that. I swear to God, you can look it up. It's called a moy. Moy. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I know it begins with a M. Moy. Look it up.
That brother, he ain't lying. He's telling the truth.
All true, but no homo, by the way.
Yo, this is some weird, and that's not the insult their culture either, but this is some crazy stuff, man. Like, wow, the baby already had something traumatic happen to him. Oh my God. Okay, let's get back on topic, y'all. My man, Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your. Oh, Ray, I'm sorry, Ray, you was next. Go ahead, Ray, and then we're gonna go to Black.
Okay, just real quick, I want to ask Bobo while he was still on stage, because I have that book, the Delectable Negro, but I haven't had a chance to read it, because I was wondering if the story of Sam Hose is in there. I was gonna ask him that. Well, for those of y'all that don't know, Sam Hose, he was a man. I believe he grew up in like rural Georgia, or whatever. And he did something, very minute, and they actually hung him. But before they hung him, they broke his bones one by one, like every finger, every joint. They broke this man down. They barbecued him, and if you look back in history, you guys will see they actually have like a fetish about like stripping us naked before they do all this stuff. So they stripped the man naked, they burned him, and they hung him. And they were actually fighting over who was going to get his penis, who's going to get a foot, and all this other stuff. And they would like take this stuff home as collectibles and stuff from this lynching. Like, obviously that, like, I don't know if people used to know this. They actually sold tickets to lynching, and people would come from all around the states, from on trains and stuff, just to see people get lynched. I mean, this is the history of America, and I was just wondering if that was in that book. Because I remember when I first learned this story about Sam Hose, it was only because W.E.B. Du Bois was at a shop. He went like shopping, like let's just say Walmart was of that time, and he actually saw Sam Hose's knuckles like out on display, like it was some damn donuts or some shit. He was like, "What the hell is going on in the South? Did y'all around here, doggone, roasted black knuckles?" For selling and stuff. But I want to ask that brother that question.
Yeah, that story is in there. Yep, sure is. I remember reading it. I can't remember the brother's name, but I remember reading that exact story in that book. It's definitely in there.
All right, we're gonna go to Black Pressure, and we got you on live. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. And what's up, bro?
So Black Family, Ray, DJ. I'm just gonna add something real quick. It's a little science. Speaking about Jeffrey Dahmer, it's related to cannibalism. Though there is y'all go behind me and check, because I'm probably gonna mess some of this up because I'm going off the top of my head. It's a disease that is directly related to cannibalism, like consuming human flesh. It is an ancient disease. It's called Kuru, Kuru. There's people that still have it today in the New Guinea, those islands, Papua New Guinea, those islands off Australia. But it is like a forerunner to Alzheimer's disease. What it is when you consume human flesh, just like those proteins that grow on your brain that gives people Alzheimer's disease, you can get that Kuru disease from consuming human flesh, and it is literally a carbon copy of Alzheimer's disease. And I'll just land my plane there.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Aunt Lai, sister, go ahead and unmute your mic. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, sister.
Before the government cut me down, even though DJ keeps saying it's my phone not janky. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Nat Turner was actually cooked too. They made grease out of his skin. They boiled him. That's what I said. When devils do devil stuff, you can't be surprised why they do. That's just who they are. And that was like slavery. Yeah, like that's just since they've been here. Like I'm pretty sure Christopher Columbus probably did some eating too. It's not above him. I don't put nothing past devils. But with the Jeffrey thing, I think it's more important to really look at not necessarily with the criminal justice aspect, but also how the government, the U.S. military trained him in the chemicals and the drugs. After because that's when he really got good at it, because before he was doing it to people and they was getting caught. He was in love with the mannequins too. But if you see the movie when he went to the military, that's where he honed his craft. The U.S. military helped him hone his craft. And even though he was kicked out for drugging, I don't know if it was dishonorable or not, but he was drugging the soldiers. Then he was actually in the bathhouses where they used to have sex at back in the day. He was actually going to the bathhouses and drugging men, to the point where the owner of the bathhouse called the police on him because he would just bring men there and drug them, and then he would just leave them. Like, he was really sloppy, but like when people say he was smart, no, he's not. He's just the average. He's just like every other white boy you see out here. They're all the same. None of them is different. Him and Trump definitely are related because they do the same dumb shit. But everything he did, literally, the cops was called on this man more times than, like, I can't even explain. It was just, he was basically enabled to do what he did, but the system allowed.
You there, sister? We kind of like lost you. You still there, Aunt Lai? I think Aunt Lai been having some.
Phone going in and out for sure.
Yeah, I think she having some connection issues. But when people say the system of white supremacy, because you can't be black and do the kind of stuff that this cat did and still be walking free like that. Even if you were to do this the black people and you just to be killing them like this, like that, you can't get away with that, man. They're not gonna allow this right here. So the simple fact that this dude left a damn trail of evidence all over the areas that he was at and stuff like that, and the fact that he wasn't locked up long before he just started just going on a killing spree just lets you know that as a black people, our lives mean absolutely nothing to the system right here, man. Like, this is wild that this dude was able to go ahead and get away with all of the stuff that he got away with. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kick it to Secret Sister. Guys, make sure if you're in the space right there, we got a lot of stuff up in the Jumbotron. I'm at the got to go ahead and put the actual Newstoter YouTube channel up in there. So if you have a YouTube account, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the Newstoter YouTube. We're trying to get that thing up. We're close to 500 people, so we need to go ahead and get up to that 500 people. So definitely go ahead. I think about at 489. So let's go ahead. Everybody that's in here that hasn't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead. we can go ahead and we can hit 500 tonight. So go ahead and make sure I'm gonna go ahead and put that up in the actual jumbotron. I'm also put up the actual newsletter in there as well too. And you guys can support us on Cash App. That is $Newstoter. That's $Newstoter. I can't wait to hear from you, Secret Sister. I gotta hear this, sister. Go ahead and unmute your mic for me.
Hey, Tyler, the Newstoter link for the YouTube, it says it's the third bubble on the far right side, and the third one there
Okay.
says follow Newstoter on ScrewTube, which
Yeah.
you already know. And the name of the link is the Tommy Tuberville, Yuri Martinez space we had. So go ahead and follow Newstoter on YouTube.
Definitely. And Secret Sister, I can't wait to hear your thoughts and your opinion on this. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello, my brothers and my sisters. I'm here to actually educate. Actually your brother that was talking before. In my career, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay. And I was saying,
I'll be back.
okay, our brother, he was hitting on it. Unfortunately, in my career as an agent, I have had the privy of this case as well as other cases. And yes, brother, you're right. Kuru is it's a disease and it affects the nervous system. At first, a lot of people used to think that Alzheimer's was related to this. And fortunately, it isn't. Okay, it's rare. It's very rare. Okay, and it's an infectious protein. Okay, and it's found in contaminated human brain tissue. Okay, so it's found among like the people of New Guinea. I think he was right. I think you said that right, brother. I think our brother did say it was like New Guinea. Okay, who practice cannibalism, as we all should know, and they ate their dead, and that was their funeral ritual. They ate their dead. Well, that's when we found. I think that was around 1961. Okay, it causes like brain and nervous system changes. That's why we thought that it was close to the tremors and all of that. Creutzfeldt, I think it's Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and that's the similar disease, and it appears like in cows as bovine, and it's like a spongy form. They call it BSE, and it's also called the mad cow disease. All of us have heard that, right? The main risk factor for the Kuru is eating a human brain tissue, which contains the infectious parts, and when we found that out, it was easy for us to find out cannibals. So when we would go after serial killers, we could easily find out through a series of tests to rule them in or out. Tests, yes, we did have to take samples of their brain tissue. At this point, in this time and age, now it was able, right before I was retiring, they were able to take it out of just regular tissue. And you can find that, yes, they were cannibalized. Because a lot of times we were wondering, where is the bodies? And I think we all know there's like millions of bodies that are unaccounted for. Well, most of the times they would sell off the organs, either burn them, or they would sell them to I forgot what the crew would be called, because now cannibalism is now practiced here in the United States, and they also have it's like a religion. So right before I retired, we found that it was several of these communities that practiced that, and we were trying to get in legislation where that could no longer be practiced, because a lot of people would send their human remains, and then we also found that they were also quite the middle. I would say the middle part of when you're selling the organs. I unfortunately I did not know they were even doing brain transplants now in certain parts of the United States. I can't say, because of my oath, but they are doing brain transplants. And I thought, okay, wait, brain was stuck to the stem. So what is going on? Then we found these people were dying within a week or so. And this is why, because it's almost like when you're putting a brain inside of another body, it's just a host. And that brain cannot live without its original host. So hopefully I gave you guys a little bit of education, and it's a lot more, but some stuff I have to be asked, and then I can tell you. It's because it's such a big gamut around this career, and it happens right here. And that's one thing that we fear with these 250,000 women and girls that are going missing. We're fearful that they have been sold off to these cannibalized. Some of them are running our country. I'll just give you that, and I'll land my plane right there.
Sister, before you go, I want to ask you one quick question. Just what's your personal thought about the phenomenon with Jeffrey Dahmer, that he's become almost a Hollywood icon for Halloween this year right here? You got people having Halloween parties and posting TikTok videos, and it's crazy that he's become almost, now he's almost like a real life Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers type person.
As an elder of the Black community, okay, this is sick. If anybody's Black children are doing this, if you want to make somebody, and I hate to say this, please forgive me, but I mean it, okay? If you want to make somebody the Halloween character, how about making the man that killed them, the Black man that tore that ass up for killing our men? So that's who I think should be celebrated more than Jeffrey, because in jail, believe it or not, even the warden, they love this man. They love this man. His son has since come out in several interviews. And I do believe he's about to start acting and stuff. And they're supposed to do some kind of documentary or movie about what it was like when Jeffrey Dahmer went in and how his father killed him. So that's going to be quite exciting.
All right, sister, I appreciate you as always. Thank you for your insight. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna shoot it over to we're gonna go Black Pressure, then we'll go Ray. We'll go Black Pressure, Volvo, then we'll go Ray. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I got a couple of quick things, Luz. Just something about Jeffrey Dahmer, something to build on what you said earlier. I remember years ago, it was, of course, many years after it happened, just like reading literature about it. Before he was ever found to, be a serial killer and cannibalizing people and all that, the residents at the complex were complaining, right and left, that his apartment smelled like a slaughterhouse. And like you were saying, if he was Black, there was no way that man would have got away with that for all those years. Because I've lived in apartments in my life too, and I've known people that have complained about people's apartments smelling like weed, and the management came and G-checked them. Like, hey man, we getting complaints about a marijuana smell. So yeah, that's amazing. But also one thing for Secret Sister too, because she kind of got my little geek juices flowing. But many years ago, when I was in school, I kind of flirted with
bioengineering. And is it true about the Kuru disease? I remember reading about it that you cannot destroy it. I read that they've tried to burn it and freeze it and do all that stuff, and that Kuru protein would still survive. And I'll land my plane there.
All right. We gonna
Can I answer, Newstoter?
okay, go ahead and answer, sister.
No, you can't. You can't even get rid of it. So what they do is, you should see the people, they have a warehouse full of brains, partially eaten, all the way eaten, little pieces, whatever, brains that are infected with this. They have them in a big warehouse because, no, you can't burn them. Actually, what happens if you burn them, it gets into the air, and it could affect a lot of us just by breathing it in, because our brain is our nervous system. And so it is what makes this whole body tick, and us breathing it in is worse than COVID, trust me. Oh, and I also, it was something else that, what else did he say? It was something else he said that I wanted to chime in on, about Jeffrey Dahmer. What was that you said, Black Precious? Something about Jeffrey Dahmer.
About his house smelling like a slaughterhouse. That's what everybody was complaining about.
There it is. When I first got the case, if you guys would see what a regular bedroom looked like, that's how many pages we had to go through from people, not just inside the apartment, but would you believe people that would walk their dogs past, children that would walk past, we have so many statements we had to go through, and we had to get, we had to start asking for detectives to come in, help us read. Because it was just too much to read. It's sad that they had to be put under that. And what they don't want to tell the world is, there's some unfortunate people that lived in that building that suffered from Kuru. They will never tell you that, and has since passed on.
All right, sister. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get it to Volvo. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Ray was in front of me. I'll go after Ray.
Okay, Ray, you go ahead if you want to go.
Let me real quick. I just wanted to see if the family has seen about this Jeffrey Dahmer special. Have y'all heard about that?
Yeah, they supposed to be coming out with a. My bad, not to cut you off, Ray, but I see they supposed to be like, they done went Jeffrey Dahmer crazy, like, because you got this shit on Netflix and they got a bunch of other stuff, like they're gonna be launching about this dude. So like they done just went Jeffrey Dahmer crazy now.
Yeah. So it's a place in Lubbock, Texas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, Lubbock. It's called Capital Pizza. They're serving, and this plan is called a Jeffrey Dahmer special. And obviously it's made for, his fingers and eyeballs surrounded with what looks like blood and guts. This is on TMZ if you want to look it up.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah, they have a pizza special, Jeffrey Dahmer special.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This is not it.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh my. Go ahead, man. This is ridiculous here.
I know a lot of people like to complain about like how Hollywood propagandizes and they caricature certain places, like when they show Texas, it's cattle and people riding horses and cowboy hats. Hey, in Lubbock, Texas, that shit is true. If you want to see that propagandized Hollywood scripted type look about Texas, go to Lubbock. You'll see the tumbleweed blowing and everybody in the cowboy hats and redneck white dudes, missing teeth, spitting skull. That's in Lubbock is where you see that.
Lubbock is where Texas Tech is located at, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Texas Tech. Yeah. But that's in the downtown where they built it up for like tourism. Yeah.
Okay. Volvo, go ahead. And just before I give it to you, Volvo, now that's ridiculous. Now the fact that what in the world are we talking about here? We're gonna see.
If you check the Jumbotron News, you'll see it's in the far left.
What on earth are we talking about here? You sitting up here talking about, and we know, of course, that we know that, like you say, it's not actual real body parts, but you're gonna sit up here and first off, to even name something after Jeffrey Dahmer, like I say, this couldn't be no white serial killer who just goes around killing white women or killing white people and stuff like that, and them having food specials to honor him and stuff like that. This is ridiculous here. This is the kind of stuff that black people really should say something about. It's been way, way too quiet. This guy is one of the biggest serial killers of black people in the history of this country. And you got black people sitting up here not saying a goddamn thing. This punk, they having damn uh, Halloween costumes and contests and all this other dumb shit up here. This man just set up here butchering black men. I don't give a damn if they was gay, straight, bi, or whatever, sitting up here butchering black people, killing black people and whatnot. And you got people sitting up here and you got damn restaurants in this redneck ass town of Lubbock sitting up here having a goddamn special about this dude, sitting up here talking about damn eyes and fingers and guts and stuff like that. What in the world are we talking about here? I mean, are we serious here as a people? We sitting up here, people sitting up here trying to run Kanye West ass up out the country. Whether you like Kanye West or not, they sitting up here trying to drive him up out the goddamn country. Kanye West ain't killed not one person, okay? And this dude done sit up here and just murdered people left and right, murdered them. And like you say, if he just went a complete dumbass, he would have murdered more people. And they're gonna sit up here and they're gonna have damn all this stuff. You got dumbasses over there in France having at clubs and stuff honoring this dude right here. Oh well, we didn't know he was a serial killer. I mean, what? And please, Volvo, go ahead, unmute your mic, bro, please.
Yeah, they full of shit. The only reason why you know his name is because he's a serial killer. And I wanted to touch on a couple points. Yeah, he right about Lubbock. I used to live in West Texas. Yeah, it really is like that. It's some real, goddamn white hillbilly. I don't want to exactly say hillbilly, but he's absolutely right about Lubbock. That pizza thing, that shows you the mentality of these people. I'm not about to sit down at no table where there's no fingers and eyeballs and all that. Even if it is fake, I wouldn't be able to eat the food. Like I look at my food before I eat it. You know, I'm pretty sure most people do that. I don't want to see no body parts at the table. That's ridiculous. Like that's just ridiculous. Like how can you keep your appetite? You know what I mean? Like that just shows you who these people are. And as far as somebody mentioned Nat Turner, the Nat Turner story is in the book, The Delectable Negro. The Delectable Negro is it's a amalgamation of stories about white people eating us in the United States. This guy that wrote the book dedicated his life to going all around the country, getting the stories, getting everything that happened, getting first-hand and second-hand accounts of what happened, gathering documents and all that. He did his homework. This shit is true. This really happened. And I wanted to close with this, right? All those, if you look at those old photos of the Klan and all that shit, and those lynchings and all that, right? They got on those robes and all that, right? Somebody touched on this. I forgot who mentioned this. You don't see those robes popping up at Goodwills and popping up at thrift stores and all that, huh?
That was KRS-One.
Okay, yeah, that was KRS-One, right? So those robes are in somebody's closet. Now, if they was cutting up black people at all these lynchings and keeping the penis and all that shit, the heads and cutting up arms and hands, where do you think that stuff at? Some of that stuff is in mason jars in the back of closets, down in people's basements and people's cellars. They kept those shits as souvenirs. They still got them body parts. It's still black people's body parts floating around in these little hillbilly redneck towns and all that. They still got that stuff. They pickled and preserved some of them body parts. That stuff's still out here. They still got it. It just shows you the mentality of these people.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that. Could you imagine that, like the DC sniper, the dude that killed them people and stuff like that? Could you imagine if you took some black people that had killed white people and stuff like that, and you started having restaurant specials honoring them. You start having Halloween parties honoring these people and this and that and all kind of different things, of outrage. Like I said, you see the outrage with Kanye West and everything that's going on. Could you imagine the damn kickback you would get? And like you say, I'm not finna sit at no damn table. I don't give a damn if it was made out of gummy worms. I'm not finna sit at no damn table. And you talking about that this is supposed to be in honor of this is supposed to be in honor of this person right there. Somebody who's a damn sadistic serial killer, somebody that's a damn cannibal, somebody that's a necrophiliac and everything else, and sit up here and talk, we gonna honor him and this and that and all this other nonsense like that. I mean, good Lord. I mean, if you had, they're not going to have a restaurant up here with Charles Manson sitting up here honoring him or nothing like this right here. This just goes to the level of disrespect here, man. Like, leave these people alone, man. Leave these people alone, man. I mean, serious talk. I mean, leave these people alone. Who's next? Original.
I want to add this in too, real quick. News that boy, because you know it was John Allen Muhammad who was a DC sniper. Lead boy Malvo, which was his accomplice, actually up for parole.
Yeah, my people KC said on YouTube, he said let's have a Nat Turner Halloween and see if it can go costume and see if it can go viral. Now you have a Nat Turner and have a bunch of damn young black men dress up as Nat Turner and put that online and stuff like that, and see the kind of response you get from America and whatnot. You had a damn FBI and everybody else pouring into people's house and stuff like that. Go ahead and have at a damn rib shack or something like that. They got the Nat Turner special and whatnot. See how many people get pissed off and upset about something like that. Man, this is just this when we talk about just outright disrespect, when we talk about just not giving a damn, telling people to your face that this is what we're gonna do and ain't a damn thing you can do about it, only in Texas. Only with some trash like this come out of Texas and Florida and Louisiana. And let me throw some of these Midwestern states in there too, because I don't want people, a lot of times people think though, oh, we's up north. We don't have any rednecks. Yeah, right. You got just as many rednecks in these Midwestern Rust Belt trash towns as you do right down here in the dirty deep South. Like, don't even kid yourself about that. Let me go ahead and throw it to my man. We're gonna go in the order. We're gonna go original. We're gonna go Jay. We're gonna go insane. Then we're gonna kick it back to you, secret sister. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Greetings, everybody. Power and reparation. I don't know if anyone has said this or not, but this is to desensitize us to the trauma that we have been going through. This is not new, but see, we've always had some type of, even when you see those postcards of the lynchings and everything that they've done to us, but this right here is taking it to another level, I believe, whereby they want to try and just desensitize us. So when some of us see another one of us being killed or whatever, they're just gonna say, "Oh, it's just a black person." But there are some black people who really feel that way. They as well as the whites and others, they don't see us as being human. They just see us as just being something that you can use and discard like an old toy or whatever. And it's interesting that I think it was Ray who mentioned, somebody mentioned Nat Turner. Several years ago, there were some white people who were getting angry because they said black people were identifying Nat Turner as a hero because he killed white people, and they were offended by this. This is the sick mentality that these people have. And this is why I don't fool with them. But let me share this. I want to share this with you. Yesterday, I changed the brakes on my car. And so after I got finished, I saw this white guy who moved in across the street from me. He's married to this black woman. So I'm going to be neighborly or whatever, and I said, hey, he was getting this mail off the mailbox. And I said, hey, any checks for me? And so the neighbor that lived next door to him was coming home, and we just started to talk. And I said, yeah, man, I should have grabbed you to change my brakes, And so we just started joking around, and we were just joking. And the white guy said, yeah, I'm going to put a rope around his neck. I'm like, God damn, this is ingrained in these people. This is how sick they are. I mean, me and the brother, we always joking. But the white guy said, all right, we'll catch him. I just put a rope around his neck. These people are sick, and I would advise anyone, because we all saw, if you saw this article, this little black boy went to have a play date or spending night with his white friend, and he ended up being burnt over 80 or 70% of his body. And the last I checked, no one has been arrested. I mean, people, if you love yourself or your family, you would not affiliate with these people. And I'll land on that.
Yeah, I know. A couple weeks ago, when Florida State had a home game, one of my boy, one of his friends at school or whatever, white kid or whatever, that he knows, parents had some tickets to a Florida State game or whatever, and they was talking about going like coming to us. Like I didn't find out about this till like the day before the game or whatever. Talk about going. I'm like, no. This is what we'll do here. If they got tickets to the game, we can go out there and we can meet them at the game. But no, you're not going to these people's house. I don't know them. I never met them. I don't know anything about them or whatever like that. There is no going to their house or whatever. I need to see, even if you talk about going to the game, I got to meet these people. I got to be able, it's got to be some place where I can pick you up, drop you out, if not going to the actual game with you myself. So no, I say first off, this is shorthand notice. I need to know this kind of stuff before time or whatever. I don't know anything about these people like that. So, no harm, no foul, no disrespect to the people. I'm not saying that they're bad people, anything like that. But before I go ahead and let one of my kids go off with complete strangers, especially people, of the persuasion, I got to know a little something about them or whatever. And it's got to be at a public place. And it's got to be somewhere that I'm dropping you off or picking you up at or this and that. So, no, we can't do that right now. I'm sorry. I mean, little black kids are going places, like you said, having sleepovers and hanging out, and they get an everlasting dog kicked out of them. So, nah, we can't do that right now. We can't do this. So,
let me share this with you real quick. This was around like between 2010 and 2013. This young black child he was from the metro area in Decatur, Georgia, and he was going to school somewhere. So I think this white guy was his roommate or something. But anyway, him and the white boy was traveling somewhere in Mississippi. The cops pulled them over. The little black boy is arrested, and he ended up being lynched in this jail in Mississippi. But not only that, the little white boy's daddy tried to have the little black child cremated, and he's nowhere near being related to this child. I mean, these people, I'm telling you all, if you sending your child off to college or wherever, please inform them. Do not hang out with these people, because this child is dead now because he was hanging out. And see, a lot of these white folks are into ritualistic killings of black folks. But yeah, and now this child is dead because he was riding in the car with a white boy and the cops pulled him over. Who knows that the white boy didn't set it all up or wasn't involved in it, where the cop arrested him and he ended up dead. And I'll land on that.
all right, Original. I appreciate you, brother. Let me go ahead and get to the brother Jay, and then I'm going to get to you, Insane, too. So, Jay, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Peace to the room. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just want to piggyback off the brother was saying. Like, these people are devils, man. I'm not prejudiced. Like, I ain't like that. Us as Black Americans, we gotta understand these people. We cannot be surprised at this shit. It's been quoted through history how they get down. Like, I just like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. We know what's going on with that on YouTube. I remember a few years back, I was looking at posts that they had up from 9 years ago. You could look it up too. It don't have nothing about Jeffrey Dahmer, but it's like the same thing, parallel. White people eating a human cake of a black woman. The human cake was of Sarah Barton. Whoever knows who that was, I forgot her region, her African sister that they had out there doing stuff. Like these people, this is what they do. You should see how it looks on the YouTube about this. It's demonic. It's just who they are. It's just who these people are. So we can't be surprised, and we cannot definitely be scared. They think that they own us anyway in this country, and it's like whatever. It's like right is right. Whatever they do is right. You know what I'm saying? And it's no matter how cannibalistic, demonic, how evil it is. They try to like normalize it. One of the brothers was saying a lot of our people got like got desensitized about it. That's true because I know a Black American sister. She worked in law enforcement. You know what she had as an avatar on Facebook? Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm a trucker, so I had to call her. I noticed this. I'm like, what made you put that as your avatar? That's the question. I had to come to her just to ask questions. I know how offended she would put. So I just do that easy question to her. She's like, oh, but he took a lot of people. I said, you know what he did to our people? I said, you know what type of person this is? So, she threw it off. And, a couple hours later, I looked again. She took it down. I'm going to keep that. I don't know what's her mentality, but I guess like one of the other people I was speaking was saying, our people get desensitized. But I can't. Ain't no way in hell I'm getting desensitized about that. Our people just got to be on point. We got to love our people. I don't deal with it. I'm just going to keep it short. I don't want to talk too much, but let's just be on point, love our people, and let's be on point. We don't have no friends, no people together. And that's all I'm saying. You're my mind.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I definitely agree with you. Like I said, I had heard that about my son going to the game. I'm a big college football fan or whatever. So you want to go to the state game, and then like I heard this like a day before the damn game. I'm like, well, wait a minute, like who we talking about? We'll pass on this one. Like,
Hey Jay, so is it desensitized or educated? Because as you saying she was a cop, you have to go to training school, law enforcement. You have to learn things to be educated on becoming a law enforcement officer. So it can't be that much desensitizing. I just say more or less uneducated along with the indoctrination of being desensitized. But go ahead though.
hey, but my man said that the girl had a black chick had damn Jeffrey Dahmer damn avatar. I mean, what planet was she on, and what was she smoking to have some crap like that? That's like having a damn Klansman damn as your avatar. I mean, come on, let's wake up here, black people.
But look, listen to what he said. Hey Jay, you said this black chick is a police officer, right?
Yes, she's a police officer. It's like she want to be accepted by something. I don't know.
There you go. And I didn't even want to go there, but that's what I'm already thinking. Our people want to be white so bad. We love white so much. It's just like, we love access to whiteness, the white ice cold, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because why else would you, as a person of law enforcement, have a avatar of Jeffrey Dahmer? And then when questioned about it, you hit him with the all white lives matter and shit. So you bought a T-shirt from Kanye? That's fucked up, sis. No,
Yeah, your girl up here, she's seriously being a magpie right here. I mean, seriously, on all levels, she's been a damn magpie. Let me go ahead and we're gonna kick it to Insane. I see Shepard's up in here. So Secret Sister, I'm gonna put you back one spot because after Insane, I want to go ahead and let Shepard, let our new speakers get in here, but don't go nowhere, sister. I'm gonna get to you and I'm gonna get to Volvo as well too. So Insane, also guys, make sure you're following. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to that actual to that YouTube channel. Like I said, let's get those numbers up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Newstoter YouTube channel. It's up in the Jumbotron. What you said, DJ, on the third right? Go ahead and click that. Go subscribe.
On the right, yeah. Third on the right. It says Tommy Tuberville and Nuri Martinez. Racist rants and attacks. That's the YouTube. Go ahead, that subscribe button.
And not only that, but that was a great space as well too. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it live or whatever, make sure you go to that YouTube and check that space out. It was a great space as well too. So definitely go ahead and support Newstoter. Remember, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America. Insane, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Hey, just real quick, Insane, what's good, brother? Hey, we're gonna have to come back to that LA City Council thing because that dude.
Oh yeah. Don't even say less because we gonna touch up on that as well too. Yeah, we got that.
We gonna get you up out of there, man.
Yeah, you got Insane.
Hello, Toter, Ray, and Kite. It's a good topic, and everyone is sharing some very valid points. Yeah, we should be outraged at this, no doubt. I am not watching that series. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and while I am intrigued with the study of what motivates these people, I don't really get into the films anymore. I really, am almost in the position of some sort of armchair detective, as they call it. A lot of people. There have been cases where people have solved cases, so that's my level of interest. I've seen stuff about Dahmer years ago. I think we might want to consider what we're actually looking at and consider who we are. We're very spiritual people. We're very unique, the black people in this country. And, based on what America represents on a certain level, a lot of evil, greed, we are the spiritual people here. And it's important to know when certain ritualistic killings are happening to us. Ritualistic killings which happened during the era of slavery, which led to the book The Delectable Negro. A lot of those lynchings that happened, so I was listening recently, a lot of them happened on Sunday, and that's significant in itself. Moving on, I think it wise to consider that we're seeing the same type of thing going on here that's been happening, just this intense, all-out slaughter of our people. There's a spiritual thing going on here between dark and light, and I have to say that's how I'm viewing it. And again, there was a time when I used to watch those types of films. I think the greatest one I ever saw was Zodiac. He had some level of intelligence. He evaded them for a long time and was never caught. But it's important, I think, to realize when we're looking at this thing, and it might be worth considering it as part of a larger ritual. And if you're watching it, that's okay. And but I would think that we may not want to contribute, indirectly to that ritual of glorifying Black Death. So again, I listen to a lot of stuff online, True Podcast, which really gives the analytical breakdown of these people and how they function. So let's try not to engage in any kind of ritual that's celebrating Black Death. I have no interest in seeing this film because I get from what everyone's saying is that they're glorifying this film. And that's being done in the wake of 10 dead in Buffalo, in the wake of the young man who was shot like 60 times or something, just a constant onslaught of violence directed towards us. And it all seems like some kind of large ritual going on between light and dark, good and evil. So that's how I'm looking at this thing. Yeah, it can't be discussed enough. If I had a child, I would, definitely not allow them to participate in Halloween. And I would, make them aware of the fact about what's actually going on. I would use it as a teaching moment at the appropriate age, and let it be, that in itself. And I'll land my plane with that.
When my kids was young and they did the Halloween when they were like really really little, they teens now, but when they were really little, I myself took them. Like I took them in the neighborhood right where I stayed at. I would take them and stuff like that. So if you're gonna do it, then you need to go ahead and make sure that you're gonna be going with them as well too. But yeah, I myself, I took them, and you check the candy and stuff like that. That's how we was taught. Your parents always check the candy to make sure everything was legit and whatnot. Because back in the day, people used to talk about putting razor blades and all kind of crap in the candy and stuff like that. So if you are going to take them trick or treating or whatever, make sure you take them, or at least that there's a grown up that you trust, or a older sibling that's old enough to go ahead and be responsible, that you can go ahead and take them with as well too. So I would suggest that much. If you want to take them, always best if you can to go ahead and take them to the actual mall or some public place or something like that too as well. So just a little food for thought for anybody that's got some young kids or young family members that you're thinking about taking them out there and stuff like that too. And if you see somebody wearing a damn Jeffrey Dahmer outfit, be sure to stay clear of this fool. Shepard, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, everybody. What's up?
What's up now?
Yeah. It's only two people in the room? Oh, all right.
Yeah, we got a small space tonight. We got a small space tonight.
Hi, Shepherd. Hi, Shepherd.
He wants to hear the cheers.
Shepherd, we don't like you. No, nobody like you.
Captain the mic. He wants to hear resounding applause. He wants to hear the air horns. Hello, Shepherd. How are you doing?
Just saying, like, this ain't a cruise ship, but I'm just saying we all on this cruise like 3 or 4 times a week together, right? So, yo, this is a good topic, man. I really don't fuck with Dahmer. I don't fuck with anything spiritually that ain't in alignment with how I'm trying to vibe, you know? So none of this devil worship, none of this shit that go into your system, like Brother Insane was saying, I don't intake none of that, none of it at all. I don't even like to be around people in real life if their aura is off. And you literally got 1 or 2 chances to really have an off aura around me, I will not fuck with you, and nobody else that I fuck with will fuck with you. Because like we get a few chances to really be our authentic, highest self with other people, and to spread light and love and really be there for our people and our family. And if you're not about that, it's easy to see, man. People show you who they are. That's our people, but especially them. So let's talk about them for a minute. Historically, you got a group of people who are sadistic in nature. They eat people. They lived in caves. They lived in darkness. They practiced the dark arts. And everything that they've done was to try to switch what light was and put that on themselves and cast spells on darkness and make darker people seem like they were the darkness, where all along it was the opposite. And words are spells too. That's why I really don't fuck with conversations like this too tough about devilish shit, you know, because it's like that shit could seep into you. I said it's kind of a spooky thing, man. I don't really watch horror movies no more. None of that shit, man. I don't think that shit it ain't right, you know. Human beings got a sense in us. If you stand near a ledge or a cliff, you get an innate sense of danger. You don't even know where it's coming from. I say this in this space a lot. When one black person runs, we all run. We know, we trust each other's spirit. We trust each other as a people. So we just way more connected than they are. And their job historically has been to disembody us from our highest self. Queen Elizabeth is supposed to have blue blood coming from the pharaohs, like shit like that. They've impersonated us and took everything that was light about us and cast it on themselves. And Dahmer and these type of people are just manifestations of them really wanting to be us, to the point where they will consume us. You look at all these missing children and how billionaires is on camera talking about how melanin is so fucking powerful and how melanin is so fucking valuable per that millimeter of melanin is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. All of this other shit. There's 2 things they worship, and that's melanin, us, and technology. And they try to put them shits together in some dark witchcraft type shit so they can live forever. These motherfuckers is freezing themselves right now. They scared to meet the karma that's coming for them, the shit that they did. A lot of people used to be like, yo, why the fuck you be, so anti with the older white folks? I be like, what is you saying? Them older motherfuckers that's 70 and 80 right now, but especially like 70. They was the ones in them pictures that was throwing rocks and spitting on us. They was the ones that was the police. They was the ones doing this shit to us. Don't let them fool you. That shit is like an episode of Get Out, man, being around them. That's why I'm a black nationalist. I don't fuck with the people. That's why I go hard at people I see in pictures with the people. Because them people devilish. How is you even going to be around? You know they devilish. So look, man, I'm going to land because I notice I ain't really fuck around with Dahmer. I don't want to talk about that nigga. Let me tell you about my heroes, man. Christopher Dahmer, the cop, who said fuck this shit, and they had to go on a manhunt. They finally burned him alive in the cabin, but he went out fighting. Fuck that. My heroes don't appear on no set. Anybody fighting against white supremacy, that's a hero. Tell you another hero of mine. Larry Davis had the shootout with the cops that was helping him sell drugs and was giving him guns, and then they tried to turn on him. He said, fuck that, y'all coming to get me. He shot up all them police and got the fuck out of the project. That is a fucking feat that is almost impossible, yo. That motherfucker is like a legend to me. Tell you another one that hit my hero. Othello Wallace, a recent hero. Ray Soldier came over to the car. What did he do? Fuck that. You're not taking my life. We'll never know what happened, but I believe his story. You know, we'll never know, but I believe his side of the story. And he shot that police in self-defense. This the shit we need to be educating our kids to fight back against these motherfuckers, because they are devils. Period. End of fucking story. You will never see me fuck with these devils unless I can fucking get something out of them without them taking anything from me, including my soul. So when we think about Dahmer and these TV shows that they propagate about eating people and red whatever that show was, and that chick and the chick who was the detective and Silence of the Lambs, they showing you who they are. They always show you who they are in movies. All that eating people and all of that devilish shit tied to some of the fetish, homosexual shit that they be throwing in there with that. They showing you. They literally telling you. Madonna and all that Jewish Kabbalah, witchcraft, and the science temple, and all of this shit that they doing. They've perverted our natural shit, our natural order and way of being with light, and put darkness in that shit. And that's why they fucking a pestilence in the globe. That's why globally they've done the same thing. Imagine a people that could be in Belgium and say, yeah, we're going to chop off every fucking body's black arms. King Leopold. Imagine the way that these people operate. Even to their own, to even the Jewish people. We're going to put all these motherfuckers in the gas tank. We're going to put all these motherfuckers on a ship. We don't care if they live or die. Like, these motherfuckers show you who they fucking are to each other and to us. So we can't trust them. So I land on that, man. But these bitches, this shit is like sorcery, man. So don't watch that shit. Don't engage. Don't let that shit in your system, and protect your kids, like Newstoter said, at all costs, because you cannot trust them.
Peace. Definitely. Let's go ahead and and Shepard, you know, we got to go ahead and keep up with the stories of the day and whatnot too. So this has been trending as well too, with the whole Halloween and Dahmer and everything like that. So we got to go ahead and try to cover it. Try to show a little bit of versatility, man. Try not to just cover the same topics all the time. You know, try to have a little bit of something different. Like I say, I haven't watched it. Like I told Aunt Lai, Jeffrey Dahmer creeped me out when this stuff was happening. I was like a preteen or whatever, like preteen going to teenage or whatever. Like, he creeped me out. I didn't want to see it. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I'm going to see it, but like I say, I just, at the same time, you know, I remember so much from what happened back then that, you know, I did want to go ahead and cover this. And I did want to also let our people that don't know, because a bunch of our people didn't know that actually this thing was getting to this point where he is becoming like a damn Halloween icon. So I wanted to let people know this and try to keep them informed as much as possible. You know, we got to go ahead and try to put the news out there for the people that haven't heard it or whatever. For those that have, you know, more power to you. But for those that haven't, we want to go ahead and just inform people as much as we can. So that's the whole basis behind this room tonight or whatever. There's definitely different topics we could have covered, but sometimes we got to cover topics that's not going to be the most appealing or even the most popular sometimes, but we got to go ahead and try to get the message out there, let people know, you see somebody dressed like this, looking like this fella, stay clear from his ass. Definitely. So let me go ahead and get to you, Secret Sister. Then we're going to go ahead and get to Volvo. We'll get to you also, Original. Secret Sister, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
Okay, Black Pressure. I want to ask you, now, you said somewhere in Texas. Could you say it so I don't have to?
You talk about Lubbock? Texas?
There you go. Now, you remember when I told you the story of the big, where they had gotten laws, well, they got something where they can practice cannibalism legally. It's part of their religion, and that they have a lot of body parts. Remember, I said that inside of a warehouse. Well, that's where the warehouse is. That's one of them. So when you said it, it almost was like, is this the ancestors talking? You know, as long as I don't say it, I can confirm it once you say it. But everything I'm going to say is allegedly. But yeah, it's there. And we as melanated people are the go-to. We've always had the highest immune system. This is why they want us. We've always had the longest lifespan until they came along and we got inoculations. We never needed inoculations. Let's just keep it 100. When it was just us and the Native Americans here, we didn't need an inoculation, and we lived longer. When they came and they gave us all these diseases and sexual ones and all that, they brought all this corrupt. As far as me being a homicide detective and a government agent, and when I'm sitting here and or helping with them with serial killers, finding serial killers and things like that, when I can see the devastation that the human being can do to another human, and then I see who it is that does it, I cannot, for the half of me, explain the mentality they can be under. I call it the caveman disorder, you know, because it just seems like they're going backwards. It seems like what Shepard said, they getting so scared that they running around like roaches in the dark. You know what I mean? It's like they don't know what to do. Right now, it seems like they want to continuously push our buttons. And they want us to come out because they want a civil battle, the blacks against the United States. They want to be able to shoot us down like you know, dogs. But we're not falling for it. And they are scared. So this is why now they have military coming through. You probably see them coming through your city, state, town. You are allowed to ask, what are you doing here? They're going to tell you, well, we're looking for illegal aliens. That's not it. What it is they just don't know why we are so calm. They listen to us on here. They listen to us everywhere, and they don't understand how we're so calm. The bottom line is we're not calm. We're very angry. But unlike the white man, we have, how would you say it? We could go 0 to 60 in a moment, and they're pushing it, and they're pushing it. But they really don't want a civil war with the black community. This is why they're trying to bring in all these illegals. They're letting them do all this stuff. They're just trying to get their numbers up. But of course, even the illegals aren't dumb. If they find that they are on a losing side, what side do you think they're going to be on? Another thing, black people are very resourceful. Just because we're not legally, some of us don't have legal guns, don't think we don't have them. You getting what I mean? We are very resourceful. Some people are sitting on a stockpile, some people are sitting on none, but we are very resourceful. They don't know how we think because we are spiritual people. They think, well, you gotta figure these people live in the Caucasus Mountains eating each other for I don't know how long. Then we let them down, and us being the spiritual people we are, we invite them into our societies, and this is what we get. So now we're uninviting them. And if they continue, they really don't know the fireworks that they're about to implode. You know what I mean? Like they're really going to, I could see that it's going to be something very serious. And that's what I am afraid of, because our ancestors built this country up. And it seems like we might just have to get ready to rebuild, because we're not going to let anyone chase us off our land. We're not going to let, we're not slaves anymore. Our ancestors told us never to back down again. I'm pretty sure y'all's did too. We have it in us. Nobody is truly afraid. Look how we live. We live in hoods. We're bullets. We know. Get down while we're still watching TV. Death. We're desensitized to that. That means nothing. All we know is we're spiritual. When we die, we'll go with the ancestors, and I'm going to come and back the rest of the people. So it's not like them. They want to eat our young so that they can live longer. You might live longer. You look like hell. They'll never, I mean, it's sick. It's really sick. But that's just one of the places. But you look in these big major cities that are Black populated, like ATL, all that, and you look for the largest warehouse. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. More than likely, they have our organs. They have our organs, and even when we go to funerals and we put them down and we think it's over, and even when they're putting the dirt on, they dig them back up. They take it out, and that's what's so sick. But there's a bigger person, I guess they got to deal with. I guess their devil, because I don't believe in their I believe I am God. I believe we are the God. All of us put together as one, we make the God. Because we know right from wrong. We don't need a system in place to tell us what is right and what is wrong. We know when we're about to do wrong. We know this. Then we might have some of us that need some help. It's called a hospital. We could deal with our own. We don't need them to deal with us, because they always want to give us medication and all that other stuff. We suffer from slave, PTSD. We all have the DNA, and we all have that fight in us. So I just say to all my brothers and sisters, keep that fight, keep that fire burning, because one of these days we're going to need my warrior men. This is why, ladies, we have to stand behind our men. Our warrior men are going to have to ring a bell, and we're going to have to just do it. And it's just going to be so sad, because there will be some fatalities on their side that might even be innocent, might be allies, might even love us as a people. But I'm sorry, your complexion can no longer protect you. So on that note, I'm just saying I'm tired of it. I am, and I'm pretty sure a lot of men are getting quite tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and most women probably are tired of seeing our babies fall. And I love you all.
All right, sister, thank you. Let me go ahead and get the Volvo, and then we're going to get to original. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to touch on, keep it on the topic of the room, about the Jeffrey Dahmer costume thing. It shows you even more, and it shows you more about who these people are. A couple months ago, it was a controversy about CRT. They didn't want they don't want American history taught in school to their children. That has never happened in the history of the world. It has never happened where a country doesn't want where the people of a country don't want the history of the country taught to their children in school, because it'll make their children feel bad. If you go to China, they teach Chinese history to Chinese children. If you go to Mexico, they teach Mexican history to Mexican children. They don't want American history taught
to their children. They want to teach it to their children themselves. When you look at because they want to give their children their version of American history, the bullshit version. George Washington, Christopher Columbus discovered America. That bullshit. They don't want the real truth talk. Because when your kid go to school, it's kind of it's whatever the curriculum is. So, but look at how they teach their children. If you look at the Dahmer Halloween costume, they're putting it on the children. They're literally dressing their children up as a serial killer, a cannibal that used to eat people. Now I know when I was a kid, I'm looking at the picture now, the little dude with the Dahmer costume, only 7, 8, somewhere in there. When I was that young, I was a Power Ranger. I thought I was dope. I was the Red Ranger. Like I was happy as hell to be the Red. Couldn't wait to go to school the next day. You know what I mean? I couldn't wait to go trick or treat. You know what I mean? Like nobody wanted. They wouldn't put no serial killer costume on me. My daughter, she get dressed up. She goes with she was a princess or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something, something that's fun and funny, something that you take a picture and you send it to the family out of town. You know what I'm saying? And you send it to the grandparents and say, "Oh, look at your grandbaby for Halloween. Oh, isn't she cute? She was Little Mermaid, or she was Princess and the Frog, or you know what I'm saying? She was a ghost. Ooh, I'm so scared. Ooh, you was a ghost. You was scared. You was a vampire or something goofy like that. Never a serial killer. Can you imagine? You send it like if one of my family members sent me a picture of their child and they was dressed up as a serial killer, I would be like, what are you doing over there? That's not cute. That's not funny. That's not a memory that I would want to have. So that shows you who these people are. They teach this shit in the home to their children. You know what I'm saying? The little dude that's in the costume, he might not understand fully who Jeffrey Dahmer is, because that definitely wasn't his idea. That definitely wasn't his idea. So he might not understand fully who Jeffrey Dahmer is, but he's going to grow up and he's going to come of age and he's going to look back. Oh, I wonder if Jeffrey Dahmer, and he's going to think that type of shit is cool. This is their heritage and this is their culture. It's just who these people are. At this point, I feel like we at the acceptance point of this just who these people are. We accept them for that, and then we move accordingly. Appreciate you guys for letting me speak.
No doubt. I appreciate it. No problem, bro. We're going to go ahead and let Original, you're going to be our last speaker for the night. So, Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay. Yeah, I want to just share this with you. A lot of people are talking about the historical aspect of who these people are. A lot of this is based on their sick religion. Okay, that's why I don't. Once I did my research, that's why I don't get involved in it. There's I think it's still on the internet. Down in Hispaniola, when Columbus and those other people was coming over this way, it's called the burning of Hatui, Hattuey. Hatui was a Carib Indian, and so when the people came over, they were trying to get them, as always, to convert to their degenerate belief system. And so what they figured out is that if they could get Hatui was the chief. If they could get the chief to convert, then all the other subjects would follow. So Hatui, hid himself from them, and they set out to find Hatui, and they found him. And they told Hatui they wanted him to convert to Christianity. Hatui said no. He already, they had their own spiritual, awareness. And so they told Hatui, said, well, look, if you don't convert, we're going to kill you. We'll burn you alive. And so Hatui said, oh, okay. So they tied him to the post. They piled wood under his feet. They said, come on, Hatui, convert. Hatui said no. They ignited the fire. So when the fire began to encroach upon Hatui, he said, he said, because they had told Latui, everybody go to heaven. Latui said, well, he said, when I go to heaven, I'm paraphrasing now. He said, will there be any white folks in heaven? They said, well, yes, Latui, everyone goes to heaven. Latui said, well, burn me or let me go to hell. Because if you would treat me like this down here, who in the hell know what you'll do to me when I got to heaven? And they killed Latui. They killed him. And you know, who was that? I think it was Shepard. He mentioned Leopold. Okay. When Leopold, when they was over there murdering and dismembering people over there in the Congo, this is in there, but what is called Leopold Ghost is the name of the book. So what these sick people would do, they would take a gun packed with a bullet, and they would shoot at one of the Congolese people and kill them. Then they would take a gun that's packed with just gunpowder or blank or whatever, you know, and they would shoot at themselves. And then they would tell them, and the white person wouldn't die, right? They would say, well, see, look, our God is more powerful than yours. So you better get over here and believe and follow what we're saying, because your God can't protect you. Everything that they have has been nothing but smoke and mirrors. And now they are angry. That's why they have taken this thing called woke and tried to make it a negative term. But I just want to share that with y'all when someone brought up some of the historical pieces of it. But that is part of it. And that's what I want to ask you. If you don't mind, if you don't want to share, that's fine. What was your son's reaction when you had said to him that he couldn't go, you know, to the game with with these white people, because you and your family don't know them? Because I see a lot of time some black children, and I'm sure you have been schooling your family about who these people are, and that we have to really be careful when we engage with them. And I just, if you don't mind sharing, if your son got upset, or when you explained and everything, and if you don't mind sharing, and I'll end with that.
Oh, he was cool. He didn't care. I mean, he was like, okay, because he figured that, hey, that he actually figured like, hey, I should have let him know beforehand about this or whatever. So he was cool with it. It didn't bother him in the least bit. He's like, hey, because he actually enjoys watching the games on TV anyway, so it didn't bother him in the least bit. It was like, oh, okay, well, well, I'll go with dad to a game or whatever. So he wasn't worried about it in the least bit. It didn't upset him. It didn't bother him. He didn't get an attitude, anything like that. He was cool with it. So I kind of, like I say, it came to me at the last minute, and like I say, I got to meet the people and this and that, and I got to know exactly, if you're going to be meeting at the actual game and this and that and all that kind of stuff too. So it was too short notice. He kind of understood that or whatever. He just, asked his mom first or whatever. And then she told me about it, and it was like, no, I don't think so. Like, cause even she was like, well, like, yeah, it was, she herself was like, she had the same expression. He's like, yeah, well, I don't know them. And she's like, I told him to ask your dad or whatever about it. And I was like, well, nah, I don't know the people. I never met them. I never seen them before. I'm just not hearing about this. I think I heard about it on a Friday. The game was Saturday. So I was like, no. I mean, and he wasn't upset in the least, but he pretty happy-go-lucky kid for the most part. So it didn't bother him in the least bit. And he was like, hey, because we always watch the games together anyway. So he was cool with it. It didn't upset him, anything like that. Ray, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, original.
I said, that's cool, son. You have a real cool son, man. I tell you, because it's unfortunate that a number of our people, they don't teach their children who these people actually are. And when, and engaging with them, even, you know what, I wouldn't let a child of mine meet them at the game and go, because, see, unless I was going to be there, because if you leave your child in their presence, there is no telling, your child might disappear. And then, well, he went to the restroom. We don't know. I know these people. I mean, I don't think I'll ever watch this Jeffrey Dahmer series, because I just think it's just desensitizing us to the murder of our people. And you would never see this about any other group. They would never do this to any other group, because they have respect for them. but they don't have that respect for us, and that's why I really can't rock with those people in our land.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. Ray, DJ, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys say something before we go ahead and close the space out. If anybody wants to say something, go ahead. Y'all go ahead and say something, and I'm going to get the last say tonight and close it out.
Just getting the Jumbotron real quick, y'all. There's a lot of information up there. A lot of information. Y'all get the Jumbotron. Go ahead, Ray.
I was trying to look that up original. What was the name of it? The Burning of Hatui? How'd you spell that again?
It's spelled Hatui. Hatui.
H-A-U?
No, Hatui. Hatui.
Okay. I just wanted to look it up. I was just going to say, the only thing I got to say is obviously keep your kids safe and can't eat over at everyone's house. I land.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to go ahead and hit this space and close it out for the night. Probably be going 9 o'clock. The rest of this.
Hey, just real quick. Hey, Ray, the Sugar Hill Gang told us that. Have you ever been over a friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good? Let's talk about the white folks. Just wrap it to light, Tyler. Come on, let's get it.
Yep, we'll probably be going 9 o'clock the rest of this week and try to get back on our regular 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I definitely prefer the 8 o'clock time, so we try to go ahead and close it out this week. Like I say, you have a lot of stuff that I'm doing on the back ends and whatnot. So once this week is over with, hopefully we can go ahead and get back. I'm hoping that doesn't go into next week because I definitely want to get back to that 8 p.m. slot. So you guys just go ahead and check the notifications. I tried to go 8 tonight, but I just couldn't, so I had to push it back to 9. But guys, just check the notifications. We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe not at the regular 8 p.m. Eastern time, but we'll definitely be back tomorrow. So you guys check the notifications. I'm not sure what the space is going to be by, but we'll definitely send a couple reminders out during the day. So until then, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and everybody have a good night.
Peace.
Also, let me give a quick shout out to Portia. Portia, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. That's greatly appreciated. So thank you, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.